Welcome to my channel and welcome back to my channel. I'm Sarah D. Flo. Today we're going to dive into Gene Key 17. The shadow of this one is opinion. The gift is far-sightedness. And the city, the highest expression, the highest vibrational frequency of this gene key is omniscience. So the dilemma of this one, we're going to start at the shadow and work our way up through the frequency bands as we always do. The shadow, the dilemma of this one is politics. Ooh, politics. Such a hot topic right now. And the reason it is such a hot topic, maybe we're going to understand as we explore their shadow. This isn't about politics out there. Let's be clear. This is about inner politics. The inner governance of ourselves. And as we speak about at all the shadow levels, we project our stuff out there in the world and it gets mirrored back to us. So we're at a point in our history, this jump point in evolution I talk about all the time. And Richard Rudd has his 2027 prophecy, the future human. This jump point is about looking at our shadow, realizing that it's pointless to point fingers at things out there, and it's really about looking at it and turning it in and saying, okay, where am I playing this out with inside myself? And of course, if we're really stuck in the shadow, we don't want to hear this. We do not want to look, and it would probably be quite offensive to hear that opinion is in the shadow frequency. Now, it's okay to have an opinion. It's okay to have a worldview so long as you know it's not the whole story. The challenge with having an opinion and where it's placed in the shadow frequency is that we are identified with our opinion and we believe that there is a right and a wrong and a left and a right and an up and a down, and we become trapped by our opinion, and we actually become so meshed with our opinion that it becomes our whole worldview. And the reason this happens is nobody's fault. It's about our DNA and it's about being human and it's about evolving here. And we are all born up to this point in time, and Richard Rudd and others speak about the future children being born are going to be born with different DNA, but we have come here at this time to clear out a lot of density, a lot of fear, and the wound related to this one is denial. And this denial of really wanting to look at perhaps the complete opposite side and consider a truth in that is pretty much the denial there is such a deep wound, and it creates conflict and it creates argumenting and it creates defensiveness because we have to defend our viewpoint and we identify with our opinions and our views, that when they are questioned, we feel personally attacked because we've used our opinions to feel a sense of safety in the world, to understand the world. And we're, of course, trying to understand it from our mind. And this, with most shadows, with all shadows, is really where we place logic over intuition. And we place this one view and this very limiting view as even healthy. We can say, like, you should know what your opinion is. You should know what side of the political party you believe in. And you should firmly stand behind that. And that's what's keeping the collective very trapped right now, although things are changing and more people are waking up and ascending these frequencies at the gift level. We start to experience a transformation. It's where we become skeptics of our own beliefs and opinions. We allow ourselves to do that, and we question. We begin to look through our worldview. And that's, of course, the only way transformation is possible. we allow ourselves to look through wider eyes. That's far-sightedness, is looking beyond what we think we know. And I have here a quote: "As long as you are aware that any single view is not the whole story, then you free yourself from the political opinionated mind, the victim mind." And if we just jump back to the shadow and how this gets so deeply enmeshed in our life, where our whole life is often created from these traumas, basically, from these opinions that are developed in our early childhood years. Richard Rudd goes through in the Venus sequence how this patterning begins even in the womb. From 0 to 7, we get imprinted with physical patterns, and then from 7 to 14, the next cycle, it becomes emotional patterning, and our emotional body is developing. And then from 14 to 21 is when our mental patterning gets programmed. So whatever influences we were around from that age, from our young adolescence, which is such a important time, if we're being programmed by cultures, systems, family systems, educational systems, political systems, that becomes our identity until we look at it and question, like, is this true for me? Is this serving me? And I just wanted to jump back to that, where does this really come into play? And to have far-sightedness is to really understand at a heart level, not just at the mind level, that we really are all connected, and that we can't have one side without the other. And as we get to the city here of Omniscience, I can't say that word right this second. Omniscience. There we go. Omniscience. That's funny. We transcend the dualistic right, left, right, wrong, because we see the whole story, and we see through the programming that we have been conditioned with. We get the full picture. And as with all the cities, this is really more of a collective phenomenon. He says, a quote, "The eye that one day will be seen through." And he says this city here is more about being seen through versus seeing. Because you cease to be, so you yourself do not see. At the citic level, that is really a collective phenomenon, because the idea is that we are all connected. And so at the citic level, there's an embodied knowing of this. And so that opinionated version of you that had that identity and that life really wrapped up in that dies. Or you could say it becomes free to be so much more, like all of the more. And again, here another quote: "The cosmos seeing itself through you. You cease to be, so you yourself do not see. You're being seen through. The cosmos is looking through you, and you're experiencing the whole world as a big play, basically." I think I'll end with this quote. Actually, before we get to that quote, I want to share a question that Richard Rudd poses in this one, which is, think of something in your life that concerns you. And is there a should attached to it? For example, things shouldn't be going this way or that way. And I know that's a big thing to say. It's a big statement to say because we're full of opinions right now about the way we think the world should be. But in order for the world to be how we think it should be, we need to be the way we want to see the world. It's that quote from Gandhi, be the change you want to see in the world. And it's such a simple sentence and holds such a deep, deep truth. So to finish with this quote, so he actually, I need to set up a little bit more context for this. In the dream arc, which is another a sister system to the gene keys, it's a more right brain way of looking through the gene keys. There's all these animal totems. And the animal totem for the city is the falcon. And all the cities are birds because they represent this transcendent viewpoint. That's the transcendence of the dualistic, right? And so this one is the falcon because there's no time delay from when the falcon sees and acts. So when it sees its predator, it immediately acts because their eyes can see so much, so deeply. And of course, this is a predator, but the acidic level, it's not a predatory energy. It's, as he says, a revelatory energy. And this whole, there's no time delay between seeing and acting at the shadow frequency. That's the definition of denial. But at the acidic frequency, the highest frequency, it leads to a world imbued with a living awareness and all-pervasive intelligence that bridges all creatures and all things. Wow. So I'd love to hear your thoughts as always. Are you experiencing any sort of maybe discomforts about being really strongly opinionated in something? And that doesn't have to be related to politics. It could be related to your spiritual life, or could be related to anything. Or are you experiencing this higher frequency where you're able to see a scenario for what it is and take action from your heart, considering what is best for the whole, for the service of the whole? I'd love to hear whatever it is you'd like to share, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video.